Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How you doing? It's Big P here, the voice of hardcore boxing, with the 31st video of the month. You've had one extra, 21 YouTube and 10 members, all done. And we've got 10 days left in month. I'm off down south tomorrow till weekend, till Christmas Eve. And I'll do a road trip down there and I'll do some filming down there. But I'm not in a rush to get them out. They'll probably be out back end of the year. We've got the Gary Sykes interview to do end of the year. That's going to be explosive. So get ready for that one. Helmets of the year. Get your votes in. porkycorner@mail.com. Today I'm joined by, and we've got Weapon of the Week out today. There'll be no more weapons rest of the year. Unless I'm in mood for it, but I doubt it. Weapon of the Week's out today. It's a double weapon. 2 people won it. There's the Kent video out last night. Big Richard's video's out today. And I'm joined today by the legendary Terry Chappendama from Fitzroy Lodge, trainer to Britain's next generation and local banker. How you doing, Tel?
I love this, mate. My whole government, everything's out there in the streets, man. I'm about to get fired this year. No, I'm joking. Yeah, man, I'm all good. Just quite happy after this week. Just happy to leave boxing alone for a bit, actually, to be honest with you.
I know how you feel, mate. I just want to get today out of the way and then give me head a rest after today and go chill out. Have a few beers. Obviously make nothing, but he can drink water, can't he? But it's all good, baby. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper, Heavy D sat in a limousine. Last day.
Rest in peace, Heavy D. Rest in peace to both Heavy Ds, actually.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Heavy D. We're a lovely kid. And do you know what I feel good about? He wanted me to go on his channel and that, but I said, yeah, okay. And I never got back to him. So, and now that he's passed away and that, I feel awful about it. I'll tell him, Mick, the way you feel.
Because he was meant to fight Coogan at one point, wasn't he?
Yeah, hey, listen, he turned up for his battles. He had more front than Brighton Pier, didn't he? I liked him. And
yeah, he went in.
Mick really looked after him in Essex and that. He was Mick's boy.
Can you imagine Porky versus Heavy D would have been one for the ages, mate?
Oh, I couldn't hit Heavy D. I like him, man, but there's been some banter on the leading up to it.
I can't remember which David Hay fight it was, right? And we were at the O2. It might be when he fought the Cobra, not your Cobra, obviously.
Oh, right,
the real Cobra.
Real Cobra.
And yeah, and we're walking out the O2, and that Heavy D got into a fight. I think he got into it with some Spurs fans.
Oh.
And mate, he was bleeding, and all you could hear the crowd going was, boom! That's all they kept doing.
Hey, listen, mate, you were a larger-than-life character. And listen, when he died, Ricky Field was broke up about it, mate. He were really broke up. They were really close mates then.
Yeah, dude, that's a real shame, mate, because he was only young, wasn't he?
Yeah, early 40s, wasn't
he? Yeah. No, it's too early to go. Far too early to go.
Rest in peace, Heavy D. Rest in peace, lad. Nice kid. So, right then, let's get down to business. There's only one place to start, isn't it? Derek Chisora against Joseph Parker. The old carry on about it. It's left a bad smell in my mouth before the fight, and obviously I won money on the fight because I backed Parker on points. And after the fight, and in between all the build up and all that. Where we're going with this now, and what's your take on it, Terry?
It's a weird one when an undercard fight is a headline, you know your sport's in trouble, because Chisora Parker is a fight where I was watching it on Saturday, and my immediate question was, where does the winner go after this? And the answer is nowhere, right? And the whole point about a main event for me, Porky, is we're either solving a problem or we're setting up the next problem. Do you see what I mean? Whereas Chisora's not going to fight for a world title now. Like, you can't, there's no way you can engineer that. I don't see Parker ever fighting for a world title again. I just don't think either of those two are good enough. But I still can't get my head around the scorecards. When I was hearing the scorecards, I was like, what? just essentially, you know when someone's got 3 10-8 rounds, Porky?
Yeah.
And you're almost like, well, we're back to that Wilder Fury situation, aren't we? Where we're trying to do the mathematics in our head to go, hold on, how are we doing this? Whereas this one was blatant because it wasn't even, the fight wasn't even close, Russ.
No.
It wasn't even close. Now, you know me, I'm not a fan of Park. I think Park is terrible. I think he doesn't punch hard enough. He doesn't punch accurately enough, and he doesn't work hard enough. There's something about his fitness that's off because he's never had a work rate. Because Chisora is not the youngest. Andy Ruiz isn't the hardest worker in the ring, and both of these guys have taken him down to the wire. And he's been lucky. You know, he's been lucky for a long time, and it makes that Huey Fury kind of fight, you know, burn even deeper now because you're like, I wish Huey just dealt with this guy because we don't need him in boxing, if I'm being honest with you. But that judging, shocking, mate. Shocking. What was it? Didn't someone give it like, what was it, 117, 110 or something?
No, 150. I've got it here because
there was 114, 112.
Yeah,
where they only gave Parker 6 rounds.
115, 110, 115, 111.
Wasn't there like a 114, 112?
Yeah, Michael Alexander from Doncaster.
Yes, I'm like, wait. You gave Parker 6 rounds.
Yeah. Let me read this out to you, Terry. I'm going to read something out to you from, this is from the big hitters in America. 2 seconds when I get it up. There we go. In fact, I sent it you, Terry. You're best off reading it because you can. Your vocabulary is a bit better than mine. You're more professional than me. Have a look at that lot, see what you think. But he's a big heavyweight, Chris Mannix, Coppinger and all that. They carry a bit of weight.
They're all on the payroll, mate. You know.
Well, we know that, don't we? But they've got blue ticks and they make a bit of noise, don't they?
So the blue tick mafia.
Yeah. Do you think that they've all ganged up on Eddie? Because one Mannix hanging out at back of Eddie last year, but now he ain't, is he?
Mate, you know, the money's dried up over there, right? So the freebies and the 5-star hotels, they've all had to have budget cuts. So now they've had to go back to the other networks and promoters, you know, with their tongues hanging out, going, just throw us a few crumbs here. But also, Russ, if we look at that fight, and I'm going to get myself put in helmets again, but who cares, man? Like, you know, I mean, actually, guys, vote me for Helmet of the Year. Come on, I dare you. You know, you're all out here saying you're hardcores. Helmet of the Year. Okoli knocks out Usyk. Full stop. No, so let's come back to business, Russ. I had it like if you just ignore the knockdowns, right? 116, 112 was a fair score for me. Chisora was game enough, and Parker was lazy enough that you can give him 4 rounds, right? But at 116, 112, then I've got to take the extra points off for being dropped.
That's 3 points, extra points, isn't it?
Yeah, so you're looking at 116, 109.
Yeah. Maybe 117.
I don't know how Chisora can get anywhere higher than 109.
Are they writing the cards out, Terry?
I've been saying this for a while.
Before, they're writing so many rounds out and then hoping it felt best. But then when them knockdowns really fucked them up, didn't they? Because they can't change the cards, can they? You know what I mean? What about having cameras on? Cameras on them.
Hold on. They did have a camera on one of the scorecards. If you remember the broadcast, Russ, they had a camera on one of the scorecards, but they didn't stick on it for long enough.
Yeah.
Don't you wonder? Because I do, right? Because you sit with the same sheet for the whole fight, don't you?
Yeah.
How do we know if they filled in the scorecard or not?
What about the Terry O'Connor one where they were messing on his phone and all that in middle of fact? Are these people, do they need to do refresher courses or is it Are they that comfortable that they can't be touched, that they just don't give a fuck?
Okay, so first thing, I don't think being a judge is easy, by the way. Like, if you've ever tried to score a fight live in real time, not on TV, not with replays, not with commentary, being sat ringside, and you've ever tried to score a fight, it's hard. It really is hard. And mostly, do you know what, Russ? No matter how much they talk to you about objective criteria, you end the round going, who would I give that round to? There's no real science to it. It's just a feel of who had the better round, right? And it's not easy. So I can understand that. But when the mathematics don't add up is when I have the issue. So that fight could have ended 116, 112, 115, 113, 114, 114. And you're like, terrible cards, but okay, whatever. But when you get to things that the maths don't make up, where you're like, hold on, 114, 112.
Wow, that was even won it off the 10.
Yeah.
And
I don't see what Chisora was doing that justified that. Like, how many air shots did he have? Like, there's a problem. But not only that, man, just don't forget Steve Gray, who had the shocker with Bradley Skeet, was straight back on the game.
Yeah.
Straight back out there.
It's the boys' jobs for boys, isn't it?
Yeah, and they say to each other, right, no one say anything, and this gravy train keeps on. I keep saying it, if Tracy Crouch wants to make herself busy in sport, mate, just start with boxing. That's all she has to do. She was one that said football needs an independent regulator. I think she's an MP. That's what it needs. It needs someone to look at boxing and go, right, we need to work out how this thing works.
What about fucking an investigation into them all by some top fucking geezer? Listen.
Like who?
I don't know. Barry Hearn employed somebody to look into snooker, didn't he? Some ex-fucking chief of police or something. And they did that Stephen Lee, didn't they? Because they want to keep the sport clean and this and that. And then they're doing fucking boxing as well. And pulling all the strokes that they pull. So you can't have it fucking both ways, can you?
It's a different cast of characters in boxing, Russ. It's a completely different bunch of characters that are involved in boxing and that make their living from boxing.
Wrong, mate. It's fucking wrong. But it's left a bad taste in my mouth. I've been raging all week. And then to talk, like, if you could just read them things out what I've sent you, Terry. One of them's in blue. You might have to click on that. The others are all screenshots that somebody sent me. Have a look at them. See what you think. We've changed lives in here.
Chris Mannix. These are criminally bad scorecards. Parker scored 3 knockdowns in one of these 9 rounds. These are investigation-worthy scorecards. 115, 110. That scorecard I'm less worried about because, like I said, if you gave it 7-5, Parker, I'd have given it 8-4. So that's a 1-round swing. 115, 111 doesn't make any sense, actually. And 114, 112 makes absolutely no sense at all.
Do you think that 114, 112 is shocking, isn't it? Do you think that sooner or later, these referees and judges are going to need security to get them into fucking arenas? Do you think?
Nope.
No?
No. They will do as they're told, and promoters love that.
It's fucking really great in me now. I want to fucking go after them all of them. Fucking do them in!
It's a bit where Dave Caldwell says Derek did well against Parker. You're like,
you read that? You want to read that one out? Have you seen it at the bottom? That's the last screenshot. Read that out. Go on.
Derek Chisora was phenomenal in a courageous defeat to Joseph Parker and is already talking about another fight in 2022, says trainer Dave Caldwell. Yeah, but he would say that, right? Because he looked terrible. He couldn't move his feet. He had no balance. He had no coordination. It didn't even look like he had trained. That was the worst thing about this one. Is he didn't look like he was trained. And so if you go back to Saturday, I think a lot of people were of the view that Derek should just go back to Don Charles. He never looks better when he goes away.
What can Don Charles do with him now, man?
Who knows, man? But if you're going to keep fighting, just go back to where it started. So I don't think all of this experimentation looked good. I tell you what he reminded me of. Do you remember when the UFC brought USADA in?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, guys who were killers on the UFC just couldn't do anything. Like Arlovsky was terrible for a bit. Velasquez was horrible for a bit. A lot of these guys were just horrible for a bit. You know, all of that kind of like when they all had to come off the TRT and stuff like that. And that's what that felt like on Saturday. It felt like we were watching someone who looked 37 or 38 years old, like properly looked it.
Yeah, it's left a bad taste in my mouth. But what do you think about Eddie Hearn's interview on Thai Boxing Voice YouTube, saying that he's going to make the Wilder fight and Derek beats him if he gets through the first 4 rounds? What do you think to that?
I think Eddie's right. I think Derek knocks Wilder out.
Fuck off! The fuck
that's
out
what
of
I needed.
here!
That's what I needed, Porky. I needed to hear that from you. No, be
Fuck
serious.
out of here, man. You get put into fucking orbit. I'm going to say you're fucking trolling me. Well, he get put into fucking orbit. He get put to Kitla. He get put to Kitla.
Mate, it's like I always say, right? Eddie's always going to keep money in his fighter because he hasn't got anything. Like, Eddie hasn't got anyone who draws numbers in apart from probably Connor, AJ, Dillian, and Derek are the guys who really draw attention, right? They're the guys he's got, and Campbell Hatton's on his way through.
Campbell Hatton?
Yeah, they're going to do the same with Campbell as they did with Conor Benn, right? We already know what the playbook is. We know what the script is. It's being written as we speak. Right? And so Eddie needs to keep money in Derek. Derek's managed by 258, which is Joshua's thing. So they need to keep money in Derek in case you need him as a backup. If a Joshua opponent drops out, you know you can go straight to Derek. But if we all sit there and go, Derek's terrible, he's washed up, he's through, he's this, he's that, no one's going to want to see it. So Eddie's got to say stuff like, oh, we're going to put Wilder in. Yeah, Eddie's never made a fight with Deontay Wilder, so why would he start now?
They're not going to work with him, are they?
No, of course not. But at the end of the day, the boxing fans who like to think they know everything, they're the idiots that watch these interviews and start tweeting about it, right? I haven't got time for it. I know what's possible in boxing. I know what's realistic in boxing. And it's unlikely Derek will fight Deontay Wilder just because they don't need each other now.
Why?
And it's easier for Wilder to make the Parker fight. So why won't you take that? Because Parker's not as active as Derek. He may be heavier and he may be more, accurate with his punches. But Wilder's dealt with that before. Like, Joseph Parker is like a poor man's New Zealand version of Luis Ortiz. I mean, just a big lump who could throw some decent punches. But Wilder would be a massacre.
Well, Derek Chisora's got 12 losses. He's nearly 38. He's got miles on the clock. And I mean miles. He's done a lot of rounds. He's had some punishment, mate. I found
but wait, hold on. Let's not dirty up Derek's name because
no, he's fought everybody.
Yeah. Derek's given boxing fans what they wanted. Whatever anyone wants to say, Derek Chisora's given boxing fans what they wanted. And I tell you, do you know why I really respect him, Porky?
Why?
He's a fighter's fighter. Like, I remember when one of my lads was training with Don, and Derek would come in, he'd do his sparring, and he'd always sit the young lads down and he'd talk to them. Like, and he'd say, listen, he'd basically, anyone that wasn't a fighter, Derek would tell to fuck off, right? He'd go, listen, all you lot, get out of here. and they'd have a talk, and Derek would basically talk them through the mistakes. And he said something once. I think this is quite powerful. He said, none of these other people in this gym are going to take the punches for you. And he said, so don't listen to them. Yeah, you get paid. Make sure you get your money before they do. Don't let them get paid before you because they didn't take a single punch. Despite his media image, Derek's really savvy around young boxers, and that's why they love him, because he's pro fighter. He'll help you. If you haven't got gloves, he'll get you a pair of gloves. There's loads of stuff he does.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard he's big artist.
Yeah, he's complex, but one thing he is he's definitely pro fighter, and he doesn't like seeing people get stitched over.
Point I want to make.
Although,
point I want to make is, you're saying Derek's savvy, but why is he hanging gloves up, mate? Because he's obviously come to end at road now, hasn't he?
Well, mate, if you're still making six figures and you're like, there's nothing else I can do after this.
Yeah, but you're cheating fans, aren't you, if you're turning up in that shape?
No, wait, hold on. He's not cheating the fans because it's a fight you could watch again.
Oh, so right? Should we give him a fucking pension fund then? Because he's Derek.
No, Russ. That fight was decent enough to watch, right? There isn't a question that was a decent enough fight. Not because they're both amazing, it's because they're both roughly a similar level, except one's younger than the other.
Yeah.
So it's a fight that you could watch. And I've said it before, if you match Derek properly, he'll always give you entertainment.
Yeah.
Now, think how many times we've watched fights and the guys refuse to entertain.
Oh, every fight Parker's in.
Yeah, so let's give Derek credit and say, if we were going to pay money by law to watch boxing, we'd have Chisora on the list of people we'd be happy to pay for. We wouldn't have Parker on
there. Yeah, but what I don't like to see, and you know this, is guys that are way past their sell-by date being exploited by promoters, and he's allowing them to do that. Chisora, he obviously knows he's finished now and washed up, doesn't he?
Then he's not being exploited.
Why ain't he? Hearn's exploiting him for money.
Well, you can only exploit someone who either doesn't know or doesn't have a choice. Derek has a choice. Derek's basically there going, I need to get every last penny out of the sport that I can. And he's one of the few people where I'm not going to say no. Because, like we talked about just now, never ducked a fight, took on hard fights. When you look at the people he's fought down his record, you can't fault that. Him and Amir Khan are the two people I look at and I go, whatever they want to do in boxing, they've earned the right to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and look, he's helping elevate opponents. He's not like Carl Froch, who just ran off as soon as he won against Groves, and he's like, I don't want to risk defeat against this guy or that guy, so I'm just going to run off and retire.
Oh, 37-year-old, mate, you are?
Yeah, well, look at Derek. Derek's still alive now.
He's shot to pieces.
Yeah, well, you know, the Cobra could have shown us how it was done.
Froch went, what, to be shot?
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. He went out at Wembley in front of 80,000.
Yeah, but he left no money in the sport, though, Porky. That's the point.
He left all the money out in the sport. What are you on about money in the sport? Of course, they all made money that night.
Nah, what happened afterwards? They didn't elevate George. It didn't elevate anyone. He didn't put anyone over.
George went on to win a world title, didn't he? And he made a big name.
Not in his next fight, though.
I know, but down the line, he won a world title, didn't he?
Yeah, it's all down to him. So what I'm saying, Russ, is, and I've said it about Mayweather, so it's not just a Froch thing. I said it about Mayweather. When Mayweather left boxing undefeated, he took all that money with him because he didn't stick around long enough to put someone over. Ali did.
How did Ali do? What did Ali do like?
Who did he put over?
Okay,
Spinks in the first.
Ali beat 3 Olympic gold medalists, didn't he? For everybody.
Yeah. Well, but let's come back to that point. The guys that beat Ali, their careers were elevated with that win, right? So that's more money for more people in boxing.
The guys that beat Ali, Liam Spinks ended up dying a pauper.
Yeah, but Look, what was it? 7 fights into his career, he beats Ali. He becomes a star.
Yeah,
And then through that,
fights.
and through that, his brother Michael then gets elevated as well. And at the same point, when Larry Holmes came back, to put Mike Tyson over, came back, put Holyfield over.
Oh, he came back to fight Holmes.
Yeah, there you go. You see, and that put Larry over. That's. I mean, you have to keep the money in the sport, and a lot of guys don't. And at least Derek's keeping the money in the sport.
So it's wrong for people like Calzaghe and Froch and Lennox Lewis to retire as world champions and not lose the belts and realise they're done. Is that what you're saying?
Lennox put Vitali over. After that fight with Lennox Lewis, Vitali was elevated, right?
Groves were elevated. They still won a world title and they're millions.
No, but okay, Vitali was elevated. Who did Calzaghe elevate? No one really.
No, Calzaghe's career, they're talking about, oh, he beat Kessler and all that. Kessler was just another opponent for Froch because he was running through all of them, wasn't he, fighting everybody. Calzaghe didn't have the opponents, did he?
Well, Calzaghe beat him first.
Yeah. So, Kessler won two world titles after Froch beat him.
No. Calzaghe beat Kessler to the point where Froch didn't fight the same version.
Is that Calzaghe's best win, Kessler?
You know my views on Calzaghe's career. I'm not trying to get put in helmets again, mate. Okay, I'm not going in helmets again. But this is what I'll say. I think Calzaghe should have fought Froch for the same reason I'm saying Froch should have stayed on, because you need to elevate someone.
You mean you should have fought James DeGale?
I think so.
Yeah, but James.
Either James or Triple G, right?
Yeah, Triple G didn't want to fight at 168, did he?
Yeah, but Carl could have come down. Carl could have done 164.
No, I don't think he could, mate, to be honest. I don't think he could.
Yeah, made 168 easy.
I asked him and he said you lose skeleton muscle.
Nah, he wouldn't. He's just making excuses. He wouldn't.
Oh, so you know, yeah.
Yeah, I do, man. He was holding a lot of water when he'd weigh in at 168. He could have just pulled that water out.
Oh,
he'd have been all right. Well, he's 5'11 and a half.
Well, fuck off. You're doing me head in now, right? You're fucking troll. Your fucking Porky's missing teeth who keeps going on about my teeth last 5 years, you cunt.
Pop bang.
End of bum. Don't know you. Don't want to know you. Pop bang. 200 kilo. 200 kilo deadlift. On me Corey. When John Fury grabs me, I'll go like that. I'll feel me nappy, won't I?
Mate, you know what? I don't even think his hand wouldn't make it in that space between your chin and your chest. His hands are huge.
Yeah.
He might just grab your head, man. Just lift you by your head.
He might just go like Darth Vader to me.
Yeah, 4 reps.
Like that. I don't weigh 140 kilos, so if John does 140 kilo bench press, cold before me hot stew on the fire. If he does 140 kilo 8 reps, which I know he doesn't, but if he does, what's he going to be able to do with me at 75 kilo? He'll just throw me. I'll be like that through air, won't I?
Yeah.
Like Superman.
No. I think John Fury's doing those Brock Lesnar numbers right now.
Brock Lesnar. Did you see him in his Indiana Jones act at boxing on the night?
Yeah, he looked suave, man. I'm not gonna lie, he looked sharp.
It reminded me of Hannibal Lecter. You know, in that film.
Oh my god.
Hannibal. You know when he's living in Italy and he's Florence and he's got that hat on. It looked like Hannibal Lecter, not fucking Indiana Jones. What the fuck out of here? Who's saying that to me, Indiana Jones? Burnsy. He didn't look like Harrison Ford. He looked like fucking Anthony Hopkins.
But, he's going to chew you up when he gets hold of you.
So is everybody, but I'm fucking still
here. Hey, we'll get you down to a matchroom show, Porky.
They're going to do wonders, but all they do is shit fucking cucumbers. I'll never go to a matchroom show in my fucking life, mate, ever. and I'll never fucking buy DAZN ever. I'd rather do.
I'm gonna ask Eddie to send you some free ringside tickets.
Eddie's give me one fucking set of free ringside. The other ones I paid for, and he said, "No, you're all right." And I said, "No, here's money." He went, "Oh, go on then," but he did upgrade me, so he still took the tour off me. But I'm not bothered. I've never got to one of his shows. Listen, some of my mate went to a show Eddie had in Sheffield. You know where they got the tickets from? People were fucking handing them out free in Sheffield Town Centre, mate. So he said, "Yeah, we'll have some of that." And they left halfway through and said it were a load of shite. And they took it. I said, "Well, why did you go then?" "Oh, because it were freebie, Porky." As if I'd have gone. As if you would have come. I'm going to fuck. I'm going to Matchroom show.
Why? You're the voice of hardcore boxing.
I don't need to go to a Matchroom show. I'll go to shows around here when times like when I see a good one.
Well, no. He had shows in Sheffield. Yeah, I mean, you can go to shows there, so that's round you.
Well, fucking that thing that Dennis was just served up with all them. Oh, Cardiff here, man.
Come on, Porky, man. We need to see you at these big ticket shows.
Big ticket shows? What? Fucking Ponds Ford with 400 people in there.
No. Sheffield Arena, mate. Manchester Arena. That's where we need to see Porky Rust. We want to see the crowd screaming your name when you come up on the camera.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
No, that's exactly why. That would be brilliant if the crowd just starts chanting Porky Rust and they had to put the camera on you.
Everybody shouting, "Pop, pop, bang!" End off, bum. Right.
Hey, but that Porky's missing teeth has gone missing himself, hasn't he?
He's gone missing since I got them done. I think when he sees me in April, kid, he'll be me a fucking bit. He'll probably fucking start some fucking channel up called Porky's Missing Ear. Something like that. After Big John gets me. Big fighting man that don't fight in the ring or on the hand. Right, Jack Cullen got beat, didn't he? By a late replacement that came in on Thursday. Would you replace an opponent with a banger on a Thursday and then say, well, we needed to get Jack Cullen a payday because it was Christmas? Well, why don't they just put him in with a nobody and drop the European belt on the night if they needed to get him a wage? Because once they've changed that opponent, Cardinal Sinner's the matchmaker. Don't do a late replacement with 2 days to go who's a banger. Cardinal Sin, I was told. So when I seen that, I said, Cullen will get beat tonight, but I didn't think he'd get knocked out like that. As well, I said he'd get beat, but I didn't think he'd get put into orbit. What do you think about that, Terry? Is that box rec matchmaking dangerous? Has Eddie got problems with his matchmaker? Christian Churchy in it?
When you matchmake, you've got to know. You got to know who the A sides are. You got to know who your B sides are likely to be. You have to, and not just jumped on box rec and these are the people I came down to. You've got to know. And I don't think you can be a matchmaker if you haven't had to evaluate fighters before, because you've got to know who Jack Cullen is. And the thing with Jack Cullen was, yes, he's 6'3", but he doesn't box long. Never has boxed long. Struggles to box long. No idea why, but he doesn't seem able to do it. So it doesn't matter who you'd put him in with. He didn't have the tools to use his physical advantage. So what you're always going to end up with was that guy swinging for the fences because it was the only chance he had, Russ.
Well,
Jack Cullen should have known that. His corner should have known that and said, mate, this guy's just going to swing that right hand. All you need to do is jab and keep circling to your right. And you diffuse most of his power shots. And then eventually he would have got frustrated. But the other lad got so much joy early on that he was like, I'm going to carry on. I'm going to catch this guy eventually.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're a professional fighter and you're the A side, you've got to know your job isn't just to fight and entertain. Your job is actually to diffuse the threat. And then you take him out. I don't think he had the discipline to do that. And that kind of stoppage had been coming for a while in his career because he's been badly matched. And it comes down to this, Russ. We've talked about this with other managers before. people are so keen to please Eddie that they'll put their guys in harm's way unnecessarily. There was no need for that. In fact, they could have just delayed that European fight for a while and said, actually, we'll bring Jack back next year. We'll do it properly. But instead, that guy's got to rebuild now from the ground up.
Yeah.
And Hearn hasn't got those sorts of middleweights where he can just build them up easily. Who are you going to put him in with now to come back?
It's an interesting one, isn't it, now for Cullen?
Yeah, he's not that good. That whole little lever, Eddie Hearn talking about what a fantastic journey, it disguised the fact that this guy wasn't that good to begin with.
Interesting, very interesting. Okay. Obviously, you've seen the show and that. What did you think to the punditry? And I'm not talking about people dressed up as elves and things like that. What do you think? And Tony Bellew there going on stage, screaming about Tank Davis should come and sign with us. Who's this fucking us, you bellend? You're not DAZN. Tank Davis should sign with us, and then him and Eddie digging Lenny Ellerby out and all that. They're just fucking looking for things to catchphrases, and are they just trying to fucking wind me up and give me another ulcer, these cunts? Or what? What's going on, Tal?
I think they are, Paul. I genuinely think all they do is try and trigger Porky Russ. I would. If I was on DAZN, I'd just be saying stuff to wind you up. But here's the thing. That Matchroom stable is so bad at the moment. It's so bad at the moment. And it's bad because they don't pay a lot of money. Yeah. Now, why?
Frank Warren's biggest payer, isn't he? At the moment.
Not really.
I've heard Frank Warren outbids Hearn on every purse bid, and his guys are getting good money.
No. So I don't think there's a difference in what people are earning, generally speaking. I think it's all much of a muchness. I think the big difference is, Russ, how quickly you get paid. With Hearn, you get paid on the night. Once you've done your job, your money's in your account. With Frank, you might have to wait a couple of weeks.
When Froch beat Groves first time, no, Gute, sorry, he would offer the millions.
Get it right. He didn't beat Groves the first time.
Oh, whatever, they got a decision, didn't they? But point I want to make is...
Well, mate, you just had 20 minutes now talking about corrupt judging and corrupt refereeing and stuff. There you go. That was a prime example. Your mate benefited from that. He was getting smashed from one end of that ring to the other. Absolutely bullied. Bullied by George.
Listen to me. Right, do you know after round 6, George Groves couldn't knock a fucking hen over after round 6. Get a grip of yourself.
Round 7. No, round 7. He stuck it on Froch as well. Froch had one good round. Round 9.
Listen to me. When he got hold of him eventually, when Groves ran out of steam because he was drained at the weight, which everybody knew, on the scales, I was there, mate. He had an head like a fucking skull. Let me tell you this. 17.
He had a head like a skull.
Like me. 17 unanswered punches. Right? And then
most of them missed.
Hang on a minute. And then he turned away and he slumped into Howard Foster's arms like a little baby. And what you're forgetting, because you're a big Groves man, is this. And Howard Foster told me this personally years later. George Groves had a concussion, so he saved his fucking life, Howard Foster. And that'll be in Howard's book.
Nah, he's just rewriting history, man. George was fine.
Fucking hell. You know, don't you? Fucking Terry.
George was fine. Do you know why he might have been concussed? Because Foster had him in the DDT. He looked like Jake the Snake, but he hit him with that DDT.
Fucking hellfire, Terry. Listen,
go back and watch it. Like he literally
just
hit him with a DDT.
Ringside, mate. Ringside.
Are they the tickets Eddie gave you? Are they the tickets Eddie gave you?
Yeah,
and that's when you became...
I give him, whoa, you keep putting in. I give him 200 quid. I said, I want to. He goes, how much do you want to spend? That was just a tour. He goes, I'll sort it on there. He took the tour off me. And then 6 months later, I turned up at Wayne and Frank Smith gave me 2 tickets and they were 1,300 quid. So I said, oh, nice one. I fucking had 1,100 quid touch. So I'm not going to knock them back, am I? I was sat behind.
So it wasn't a sellout?
I don't know. I can't remember. I was up front. I think it was a sellout. I was sat behind Huey and Andy Lee. And obviously, when Froch got dropped early, he could hear a fucking pin drop. Everybody went, oh, you know, one of them jobs, isn't it? Oh, you know, when you're shocked. And then he thought.
Do you know who wasn't shocked?
Pardon?
Do you know who wasn't shocked, Porky?
Go on, say it. George Groves. Oh.
I wasn't shocked. I wasn't shocked. George told us what he was going to do. And he did.
He got out toughed, didn't he? He got out toughed on the night, and he got out toughed in the second one.
The fight should have been stopped in the first round.
Well, it won't, was it? Well, obviously he fought on for another 8 rounds, so it shouldn't have been
corrupt. No, it's corrupt. That's corruption. Right? Long counts. Referees, judges were trying to fiddle the scorecard. The count was what, 18 seconds?
The fuck out of here! Anyway, a point I was trying to make before you went on to your Froch fucking hate fucking thing that you normally do is Froch were offered £1 million to fight Nathan Cleverly at 172 after he beat Boutte. Now, Hearn had never paid him nowhere near that. So the point I want to make is that Frank Warren's the biggest payer. Am I right? Unless you, apart from Joshua fights, obviously.
And Dillian fights, and probably Derek fights. Frank pays well when he needs to. That's all. Yeah. So Frank will pay well when he needs to. Otherwise, he'll just pay what the market rate is. And like, it's not lucrative. You know, people say what you earn for a British title fight. I've heard people offer 12.5 grand. I've heard people offer 60 grand. Yeah.
What do people get for a Commonwealth?
I don't know, a bag of Watsits and some Maltesers.
Liam Cameron got 5 grand for winning Commonwealth and defending it. 2 fights, 5,000 quid off Dennis.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, Commonwealth is a cheap-ish belt to get on your show. And if no one's fighting for it, you can put whatever bid you want for it.
So, but Commonwealth should be more than that. I think it's too great. Nigel Bennett, Commonwealth middleweight title, but he got more than 5 grand 30 years ago.
Yeah.
People were getting more. Mick Whale said to me, right, 2 months ago, people were getting more 20 years ago than they're getting now. For British titles, Commonwealth, area belts, more 20 years ago. So people don't.
Yeah, but we were selling more tickets a year ago.
20 years ago, do you reckon?
Yeah.
So you think it's a ticket problem then we've got, and the fans are not investing in boxing?
Tickets, viewers. I think you just had more people that respected boxing 20 years ago than you do now.
What do you think?
Remember, mate, we're the legacy of that, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
your kids ain't watching boxing.
I'm just about to say, when I say to my kids, so I watch boxing, they just, I remember being a kid watching Frank Bruno, and we'd all sit around and watch it. We were only like four channels then, weren't we, on no internet. But I remember it, and everybody's families would watch boxing and that. You know, you Barry McGuigan, Bruno, Kirtland, Lang, all them. Remember him, Maurice Notice?
Yeah.
Gary Mason. Gary Mason would be a world champion today, wouldn't
he? Yeah.
Watching people like that, and Charlie Magri, Mark Kaler. Remember that fight, Mark Kaler, Earl Christie? And that were only what fight was it? What belt were that for?
When they're like for the British or something, or Commonwealth.
Yeah, something like that. I think it might have been British, and it was sold out, and it were on TV, on front pages at national papers.
Right. You said the ABA's on TV.
Yeah, they did. Didn't they have a fight and got fined a big fine each? They had a fight outside a press conference. They got stuck into each other, didn't they? Mark Kaler and Earl Christie. So, and that would be, you know what I mean? That were back in the days when the British title meant something, wasn't it?
Yeah. People have just sussed out the game now. They realize that it's basically just it's just a hustle. That's what boxing is now. It's just a hustle.
Yeah, because we didn't get to know what was going on back in the day, did we? Now it's easy.
Well, yeah, it took me until about 2000 to figure out what this game was really about. And like, it wasn't great. It's still not a great sport. Like, think about this, Russ. We're moving into a 5-belt era now, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're moving to the era where you've got to now include the IBO as one of the belts you've won. Like, how ridiculous is that? You could be a world champion one of 5 different ways.
I know how messed up is that.
That's why no one makes money. You made more money in a 1 or 2 belt era than you ever will in a 5-belt era.
You know what I mean? I can fans. I mean, my kids are not really interested in it, and my two are not bothered. And I know other kids who are a bit older than mine, because mine are 9. I know kids 13 and 14. And you know, you got Asda, don't you? You get your beers and that. So what are you doing tonight? Watching boxing with your dad? No, I'm going on my Xbox. Oh yeah. All right then. Okay. But at that age, I was like, oh yeah. In another 19 minutes, sports nights on, or what's that other one? ITV. I'd be like that, glued to the telly like that with my French fries and my cola. Oh, can't wait. Hair sticking up on my arms, mate. You haven't got that now from this generation, mate. Not got that.
Now, you know, you have, right? Just for different things.
Yeah. Yeah, road.
Like, they love all that kind of BMXing and the skateboarding stuff. They love all of that.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you think that's killing sports, all these computer games?
I think everything's killing sport right now. Like, I don't know if we've talked about this before, Russ, but if you think about it, when you're a kid, the way to show how brave and tough you were was essentially to have a fight, right? And then you fast forward now, you can do it any number of different ways. You can fight, you can start doing that downhill mountain biking, you can do your BMX stuff, you can do all of these kind of extreme sports that have all come up now. So if you've got that wiring in you, that risk-taking instinct, you don't just have to fight anymore. So boxing's losing out to all sorts of different things now.
Yeah. Okay then. Jake Paul. And that
Love the guy.
All right. Well, that knockout bent, corrupt,
No.
or whatever. Oh no. I know you would say that. Nah,
not the way he fell. No chance in hell. There are ways you can make a knockout look good. No. He got hit, and he got hit hard. That's the he got hit hard.
What about all them videos doing now saying that it's fucking bent?
Well, how would they know? What do they even know about fighting to make that kind of opinion?
Well, it's on TikTok.
That makes it official.
Sweat came off his head though, didn't it? When he hit him.
Yeah, you don't. I don't think you can fake that, because I'm like, well, no, the punch hit the guy around the head and it made a noise that sounded like it hurt. Let's not pretend. I wouldn't want to take that shot. Forget
Apparently
that.
He can fight him, that kid, you know, he trains hard as well.
But I've been saying this for how long? This is what I'm trying to say. Like, once he started training with Milton, that was him, mate. Like, he hasn't really been out the gym.
Do you feel, Terry,
and what he's done?
Do you feel that Tommy Fury's arsehole fell out?
I think, well, here's the strange thing. Delaying the fight is just going to make Jake Paul better, because it gives him more time. Because let's strip this down. Jake Paul's had 5 competitive fights in his whole life, right? Mm-hmm. If I took Jake Paul down to Mick Wales' gym and said, look, you got any lads 91 kilo, Jake will be competitive with those guys. Yeah. Right? There's no question about that. So you have to respect that. So when people say, why doesn't he get in with the real boxer? And you're almost like, if he sticks around long enough, I think he will do. And I think he'll be good.
He's learning his craft, isn't he?
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan of
And
him
getting
like
paid
you
for it.
are. I'm not a fan of him, mate. I just can't get my
Why?
head right. I don't know. I just something about him. I've gone off him now.
Nah, I like him. And the reason I like him is I don't understand what people want this guy to do. He's only ever had 5 fights in his whole life. What do you want him to do?
I want him
People
to
just want him.
Well,
People want him to get hurt. People want him to get knocked out. Then they can go, these YouTubers ain't. Nah, people need to stop being negative, right? And just say, look, this guy's created his own lane, right? He could do his shows and not have a single boxer involved. And he could say, I don't want Porky to talk about me. I don't want Terry to talk about me. I don't want anyone to talk about me involved in boxing because we ain't using their people. He could do that and still make the same amount of money. But he goes, no, I'm going to help some of these boxers make money.
I spoke to Richard, big Richard from Rotherham. He says these YouTubers have come in and they've shown, your Arams and these other promoters how it should be done, haven't they? And and maybe that's why they're resented, aren't they? But I don't know. Warren seems to be warming to want to work with him, doesn't he?
Well, he sees the money. He sees the money, and he's smart. He's like, I'm not putting those shows on, but you want me to put one of my guys on your shows? 100%. There you go. Yeah, put Daniel Dubois on there. Get him a bit of a profile, get him a good payday. Remember what we said, Porky. The aim of boxing is to find people with money and to separate them from their money. That's all boxing exists to do. You got a few million quid to spend. Boxing will find a way for you to waste it. Don't worry about that.
Oh, if you had $1 billion, you could lose it in boxing, couldn't you? They'd just relieve you of it, wouldn't they?
Well, I'll ask the guy that owns DAZN.
Okay, then let's move on to a different topic now. Tyson Fury, Dylan Whyte. Does it happen? Yes or no? I say no.
I don't think it happens next. Because if Tyson's talking about fighting at the end of March, you kind of want it locked in by the end of this year.
Yeah, to promote it.
And Eddie's getting in the way. I don't think Dillian's a problem here. I think Eddie's a problem again.
You feel that everybody seems to be not wanting to work with Eddie, so his fighters are like, well, you can't deliver for me, and they're going, they're hitting road. Hard road.
You see, the mistake we make sometimes, and look, I've been a victim of this at various points in my life. We think the success is down to us, right? Whatever it is you do, you train a kid who does well in the amateurs. Oh, you think it was just down to you? Then you go, right, that was all down to me, so I can do it anytime I want. And then it doesn't happen for you again. You realize actually there are so many factors that go into someone being successful.
Yeah.
That it can't be you. Now, Eddie's problem is Eddie didn't realize that he was successful because he had Sky behind him and he had pay-per-view behind him. It wasn't because he was funny or he had good bants. It wasn't anything like that. In fact, he's insufferable, if we're being honest. He's just insufferable. But he had the Sky pay-per-view machine behind him.
Yeah.
But now that DAZN are tightening their purse strings, and now Eddie's got to pay normal wages to these guys, now they're like, well, actually, Al Heyman's a better deal for me. Bob Arum's a better deal for me. Frank's a better deal for me. And that's what I think's happened to Eddie. Eddie genuinely thought he was the guy that was revitalizing boxing, and he wasn't. Like, there were so many factors that went into it. He was a small part of that. And now he's paying a heavy price for that hubris.
No, it is. Okay, then. Let's finish off on the yearly Porky Awards. UK Fighter of the Year, Terry. Who's yours?
Jack Massey.
Jack Massey,
and I'll explain why. Jack, schoolboy ABA champion, senior ABA champion. In another life, Jack Massey boxed in the Olympics, right? He's gone from being in obscurity for years And I'm going to give Dennis his due here, Porky, right? He's found the one guy who wasn't really attached to a promoter, who was talented and can actually win fights. And he's found him, and he's got him the IBO shot. And now you've got Jack Massey in prime position to fight all of these guys. And I think he gives everyone a hard fight. I'm a Massey fan, and if Den and Mick are able to make that Massey versus Chamberlain fight, that might be one of the fights of the year for next year. And Jack's done all of this out of nowhere.
Yeah, Dennis was running about saying he's going to make him a millionaire like Clinton Woods.
And I don't know if you've watched Jack fight, but Jack fights a lot like Clinton Woods. Yeah. There's a lot to like about him. So I wish him all the best. So for me, just for the fact that he's come out of nowhere, the first time I heard about him was from my mate, Matt Thompson. I just snitched, sorry, Matt. And we used to work together. And he'd always tell me about this kid that his dad trained called Matt Thompson, called Jack Massey. And I was like, listen, I'll watch him when I need to watch him. And then out of nowhere, this kid's just suddenly blossomed, late 20s. He's now maturing. And I'd like to see him have a good run.
Okay. Who's your trainer at year from the UK?
It's always Chris Smedley, but the fans don't want to hear that anymore, do they? So I'm gonna say Joe G, just for the fact that he's come back now. You know, grew the beard out, the hair's nicely slicked back now. And what I love about Joe above all else is he does what's best for his fighters, doesn't he? Look at how he handled the Paul Butler situation, where he was like, well, if there's no belt, what are we fighting for? No, thank you.
Yeah, he's old school, isn't it? Do you feel that Joe Gallagher will be a good pundit?
1,000%. But I don't think he'd toe the line. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he'd toe the line. Yeah.
Can you imagine some battles Joe G's had with Eddie Hearn and wrestling matches of fighters' purses and this and that?
Yeah.
And matching them up and that.
And Joe's done so much business with Eddie, he knows what Eddie should be paying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Who's your manager of the year then?
Probably Joe G again.
Joe G. Call that fucking Joe G's arsehole, Terry. What's the matter with you today?
No. Look, yeah. Let's look at it. Tasha Jonas. Yeah. Got her exclusive with Sky. Yeah. She fights and she does the commentary. Paul Butler, out of nowhere, offered good money to fight out in Dubai.
Callum Johnson's got his world title.
Yeah. So this isn't crawling up. So these are facts. His stable's thriving. And remember what we said before. There was a time we thought Joe was done.
No, Eddie tried to make it so he was done, didn't he? He tried to freeze him out, didn't he?
Yeah. And he's lost all the Smith brothers and he's still relevant.
I know, well, they're not worth a fucking wank anyway now, or none at 4 of them, are they? So who's bothered? Well, they're not, are they? Who wants to fucking go see Callum Smith? If he were to walk through middle of Rotherham this morning, right, Callum Smith, and people were sticking a film camera at him, and it said Sky or DAZN on the side of the fucking van, and they were filming him, people wouldn't fucking know who we were, mate. You know what I mean? Ring magazine champion as well. So I look at it. Who's your promoter at year, Terry?
Ooh.
I've gone for Mick Hennessy, mate.
I was going to go Hennessy. Like, even just for that Eggington fight.
He regrouped himself, didn't he? He regrouped, he signed people, and he's boxing, isn't he? He's not interested in all that LL magazine deal and fucking JD Sport trackies. He's boxing, Mick, isn't he? End of bum. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for me, it's between Mick and Ben Shalom, because I quite like some of these boxer shows, but we didn't get enough of the boxer shows to form an opinion. So maybe next year.
Do you feel that Sky are going to go after DAZN now and bury them?
I don't even think they have to. I think the DAZN will bury themselves. They'll just keep burning money, right? And it's just about whether they run out of money or they find a way to turn the corner. Sky will just keep doing what they do.
you feel that DAZN have backed the wrong horse with putting Eddie Hearn in position, and that they might now be thinking, do you know what? It's rubbed everybody up the wrong fucking way here. Joshua's been found out. Dylan Whyte can't get his fight, and what we're left with here, you know, that kind of thing. Do you feel that? And Conor Benn ranked number 9 in Ring Magazine. Fucking hellfire! There's hope for me yet.
I would say, if I was DAZN, I prefer Oscar. Oscar seems to be the guy that delivers the stars. He delivers the fights for his guys. And I like that because Golden Boy match their guys more aggressively than Matchroom do.
Yeah. Yeah. Right then, Terry, we're out of time because I'm off to hospital.
Man, hopefully that goes well, mate. You know, health and all that. That's priority.
Health is wealth. Have you anything you'd like to say? We've been end of year and the last video of the year, 31 videos in December. We've got an extra one. We might get two more at the end of the month.
So first things first, right? For you hardcores. Sorry we didn't get to talk about Beterbius versus Marcus Brown.
Sorry.
Which was a hell of a fight.
I spoke about that in other videos, but I thought him versus Brown were a fantastic fight. And is he tough, him? Can he whack him?
Do you know what he does, which I think is really good, right? He keeps hitting you. Like, if you notice, you don't get thinking time against Beterbius.
No, he don't let you breathe, does he?
Yeah. And so they're not all heavy punches, right? The thing is, you don't know which ones are and which ones aren't. And you can see with Marcus Brown, that was messing with his head. Because you might get 1 minute the jab's a gentle tap, the next minute you can see that it's a boom. You're like, oh, they both look the same to me. And that started to break Marcus Brown down. So now I can understand why that was a bit of a nightmare for Callum Johnson. But Terbiev's he's just made of something else. Those guys from Dagestan, mate. Porky, if you're ever to become a promoter, just send a plane out to Dagestan, get 10 lads, bring them over, let Chris Medley train them, and you'll have some world champions there.
I don't know about that area, but I read something about Kovalev when he was a kid and that, and how they put him through it in amateurs, and they had him training in snow and that, and they couldn't wear gloves and all that, and the proper, like, really, really hard people, aren't they? You know, bone crunching strength and all that, aren't they?
Yeah.
And do you think
that's a hell of a fight, though.
Do you think they're all on gear? Or they just got naturally powerful?
I think most of boxing's on the gear, though. So I don't even think that's it's just there, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh. Okay, then what would you like to say to finish off, Terry?
Ain't not much, man. You know, I'm always going to plug my podcast if everyone wants to get involved in that. It's called Beyond Boxing. You can find it on all your regular outlets. I've seen you jumped on Spotify too, Porky. You got your podcast grift on as well.
I don't know what to do with me. It's what Cameron's done. It's like the merchandise. Somebody were emailing me over there. I'm still waiting for my merchandise. It's been 4 days.
Listen, you got to own the grift, Porky, man. You're grifting out here. I like it.
Listen, mate, I ain't listened to it. I listened to yours on iCloud or SoundCloud, whatever it's called. I put yours on.
See, because I'll say this, right?
Yeah.
If you go onto Spotify, that makes my life easier. And I'll tell you why. Anything over 10 minutes for me, I haven't got time to look at the screen. Whereas if you're on Spotify, I can just run it in the background while I'm working or whatever. Yeah. So I could get like 8 hours of Porky, just one after the other. I think you'll find you'll do all right numbers, actually.
Yeah, you will. What about are you going to watch Helmets at Month then for banter? Because there's a lot of money. Because there's a lot of money thrown at them helmet videos. You know, it's a fortune, mate.
Well, do you know what? You're going to find out, right? Because if your viewer numbers stay the same, and your podcast and your Spotify numbers go up, then you know. But also, I think you can do video on Spotify, can't you?
No, so I listen, mate, I'm fucking sussing this out. I mean, I couldn't get into, you know why I was late this morning? I couldn't get into it. Then so I texted my mate, I said, fucking, I can't get into this, cunt. He went, press caps lock. I went, then I tried it, and I went, oh yeah, I've got in. So I'm fucking pretty basic. Look, mate, I fucking still got an Atari at home, mate. So
listen to that. No, but the Spotify thing, at least one thing I can say is I'll listen to more Porky through Spotify. Like
good man.
You've already increased. I think it will do wonders for your numbers. But let's see what the numbers say, because there's always truth in numbers.
We will see. But some people like to fucking watch YouTube because they like to see video. It's like people always say to me, Terry never shows his face. I say he does. You see him on Helmet's video, I put his picture up and I know what he looks like. When are you going to show your fucker?
Yeah, that's what I had to say. I was like, who are you? But listen, if people want to see what I look like, I'm on bloody Instagram. You can find me. I'm not secret. The thing is, Russ, and so actually, yeah, everyone will listen to this. Here's the logic. I've always believed in having a smaller footprint as possible, right?
Yeah.
That's just me. Whether it's, I mean, like, I don't want to be a guy that you Google and there are 100 pages about me. I don't need that. I just want to have a small footprint, go about my business in the shadows, because that's what's important. I don't need thousands of pictures of me out there, then people start making memes and stuff. No, thank you. I'm all right, mate.
Okay. Okie dokie then. Do you want to give anybody a shout out?
Hey, shout out to DAZN, man. I'd never thought this time last year that he'd be British champion. So I'm delighted for him. And like, one of boxing's genuinely good guys. And I know people say, he's just shouting out his mate. I'm like, no. Go and look at his box rec. Like, that's what you call a deserving British champion. So I'm happy as hell for him. You know, I'd love more people to get behind him, because he's like Chisora in the sense that he always gives entertaining fights. And remember, no one gave him a hope against Jose Burton.
Yeah. Are you going to be? No, Jose were favourite, wasn't he? Are you going to be doing out with Martin and the other kid, Andy? Is it?
We're trying to sort something out, but it's Christmas, and like you can see the current climate around mixing households and stuff. I think it's going to be hard. We might do something remotely. Yeah, I don't rule that out. It might be something just remote. In person, I just don't think we're in the right climate to do that right now, but we might do something via Zoom or something.
Brilliant. Do you want to give Rico a shout out?
Yeah, why not, man? Shout out to Riku, man. He's out in Finland now, man. He's bringing us gifts on his way back.
Rico, I know you're watching, mate. Are you on the ski slopes with Jessica? You lucky sod.
He's a good man.
Can you ski, Terry?
Do you know what? So I lived in Sweden about 10 years ago, as you'd say, Porky.
Yeah.
And I went out. Yeah. So I went out to northern Finland. There's a place called Levi in the north. It's in the Arctic Circle. I tried it there, mate. I nearly separated my legs from my hips. Then I jumped on the snowboard. I was a little bit better on the snowboard.
Yeah.
But skiing's not for me. Snowboarding might be, but skiing, nah, not for me.
Bet Rico can do it, can't he?
Do it backwards, mate.
Rico's good at everything, isn't he?
Well, he was in the army, wasn't he? So I think that, he has to learn to ski in the Finnish army. So,
well, they make them do 2 a year over there, don't they?
Yes, you got to be careful, man. Rico can handle a weapon, mate. I mean, you talk about weapons.
Rico can handle a fucking weapon. I bet he can. If he's had plenty of fucking practice.
Listen to that.
Rico, how can I explain it? He's a good guy, Rico. I like him a lot.
Top man. Yeah, he's a top man.
Can't play snooker, though.
Nor can I. I'm not going to lie, mate. I'm terrible.
I took Rico drinking around Mexborough. I walked into this pub in Mexborough and people were like, me and Rico ripping shit up in corner pocket in Mexborough. But like you do, but yeah, I can imagine Rico being a good skier. I'm just glad I fucking did him at snooker or what it called, forget. But no, he's a good guy, Rico, and I hope he's all right out there in Finland, because I've heard it's cold this time of year out there.
That's insane, yeah.
It's Rico was telling me big piles of snow outside his.
Mate, you know what? It's nearly as cold as Manitoba.
Oh, that's bad up there. It is cold up there, actually. I've always thought it's pretty cold up there in winter.
Yeah. Whew.
So big shout out to Bunny. How you doing, Bunny lad? Hope they're well. Who else do you want to give a big shout out to? Big Frank Smith.
Frank Smith.
Frank Smith with spots at Matchroom. Fuck you.
Wow.
Big Dave and Danny at Bury, Rick Maudsley at Bury. Hey, anybody wants to watch a good fight? Google Rick Maudsley, YouTube, cage fighter. He's an hard bloke from Bury, nice kid as well. I'm trying to think who else we'll give a big shout out to usual people. Cobra, Clinton, Robin Reed. Who else? Chris Smedley, Nicky Smedley, Luke Smedley, Matt at the King's Boxing.
No, wait, hold on. Got to rewind that. Listen, I don't want to hear Nicky Smedley talk about Sonny Edwards next year, man. I don't want to hear no more talk. This should have been handled in 2021. So I don't want to hear any more talk about Sonny Edwards now, man. You're done. Yeah, you had your chance to take care of business, man. Nah. Sorry, mate.
Nicky's he's in a wheelchair at the moment, Nicky. He's just had a spinal operation, so I'm sure once he gets... He had a bad back injury or something. He's in a bad way. He just had his operation.
Vertebrae?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I haven't spoken to him for a while, but I think he's going to be all right in the new year, apparently. But I'm sure that when Nicky catches up with Sonny Edwards, they'll be able to go for a Costa and slice
and so people wanted just a bit of Smedley trivia. He was part of that whole thing of Kel, Amir, and so forth. He was part of that triangle, wasn't he?
Yeah, Kel Brook, Amir Khan, Nicky Smedley, and there's another kid. And they were all regular. I think Nicky Smedley fought Khan, didn't he, in ABA finals? And then year after they won it, Khan went to Olympics, and then Nicky won it that year, didn't he, when Khan he stepped up and went and won it. I think it's
mad how in another life Nicky Smedley might have been boxing in the Olympics. He wasn't a bad amateur. Khan was just that good.
Fought in Vegas, Nicky, as well on an Atten card, but they didn't. It's not on box because Dennis put him on after Atten fight, and they just had a move around or something. The fight fell through one day or something. The guy was like 20 pounds overweight or 10 pounds or something. But he had a good career, 16-1. But look, it's not about having. I can explain it. Kids start out good, and then they go down other avenues, and they can get disheartened by not getting paid enough, or they might get injured, or they might meet a bird, or they might go out partying, and you've got to live like a recluse to make it, haven't you?
Boxing rewards consistency.
Exactly. Do you know what? Dominic Ingle, the only thing that he's ever said that I've listened to, he said something once, and he said, look, the key things in life are consistency in everything. And I like to think after nearly 1,600 videos in over 4 years, I'm consistent with what I do. I was consistent with my dieting, stuck to them shapes for nearly 9 years, haven't I? Consistent with training until I got injured, and you get your just rewards, don't you? And I was consistent in saving up for things that I wanted in life, whether it be jewelry, cars, operations. You have to save up, don't you? And consistency is the key. There's no shortcuts to success, is there? My dad told me that when we were 18. I was what you know, fucking coal miner. But he was right, wasn't he? And I think Dominic Ingle's right. Yeah.
The things you build over time last. The things you get quickly go quickly.
Yeah. Okie dokie then. Well, listen.
All right.
Get ready and get off to Matchmaking Hospital. Matchmaking. All right. Well, you take care, Terry. Have a great day.
Yeah. You two have a good Christmas with the family.
You have a good Christmas and peace out.
Peace out, mate. Take care.
Mate. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was Terry Chappendama, all the way from the cigarette, the smoke, London. And I'll be down there tomorrow. I think I'm going up to. We usually get on tube, don't we, Mick? Is it Essex somewhere? And go up to London. It's a nightmare parking, isn't it? Bit of shopping up there, with rampacks up there tomorrow. And that's it. But I've done my target. I've beat my target where I've been set by 1. So Kevin, 31 done for a month, and we're only on 21st. We could have smashed it in the next 10 days, but I am fucking up to here with boxing. Here. With fucking judges, dope tests, fucking mandatory rematches. Fucking what's the point in getting to a mandatory and you gotta have a fucking rematch when you win? So I'm up to fucking here with it. So I need a fucking break, otherwise I might fucking say some things I might regret. And like I said, I've done my quota for the month, and I just need a break from this fucking thing now for at least for a week or something. But I'll do a road trip video down there, and I'll interview Mick, and I'll do some filming when I get to Kent as well. I've got a few things going through my mind what I'm going to do, but I've got plans to do other things next year, so I'm going to be working on that when I get to Kent. So it's all good, baby. So everybody have a great Christmas. Happy New Year to everybody. Like I said, I just need a bit of a fucking break from this shower of shit. You know what I mean? Well, we're good to get Terry's point of view on. Pity I didn't get Rico on, but Rico's welcome on any time. So he did start the channel with me. Okie dokie. All right. Big shout out to Benny from Crossroads. Lay off that cake. Peace out.